Welcome to Classical 95.9 WCRI's Conducting Conversations with your host, Mike Mano. 1 hour of music and conversation with notable people in the arts, bringing you the stories of how music has impacted their lives. The show will give a behind-the-scenes look at the guest's background, interests, or special project.
Conducting Conversations is brought to you by Roberts Musical Instruments. From sheet music and brand name instruments to rentals, repairs, lessons, and more. Roberts Musical Instruments is your key to musical success. Call 823-5459. That's 823-5459.
And now here's your host, Mike Mano.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Conducting Conversations. Tonight, it's my privilege and pleasure to welcome back into our studios here the amazingly talented, the very famous Greg Abate is here. Welcome back, Greg.
Thank you. What a nice compliment.
It is well deserved. As a man that's been doing this for a long, long time. Yes, Happy New Year to you and all those listening.
Yes.
We're a little bit past, New Year's Eve, but some of us are still recovering.
Yes, it was a great time.
It's always a good time when you have a good outlook on life. And knowing Greg a little bit, the way I've got to know him over the past few years, he's one of those people that always seems to have a positive attitude and a nice spin and a pleasant style. He, of course, is an award-winning saxophonist and songwriter. And what else can we say about you? Saxophonist, songwriter?
I love teaching. I love
and teacher.
Yeah, I like teaching.
Now, do you have a private? Can people come to you for lessons?
Yes, they can.
Oh,
yeah, they can online or in person.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to have to talk more about that in a few minutes because I don't think I realized that.
Yeah.
I just know you as a man that has many, many recordings out. And we're going to get the scoop on this first segment tonight where we get to listen to songs that this CD hasn't even been released yet.
No,
correct?
It's going to be released on January 18th.
Okay, so a couple weeks away, and it's called Positive Energy, and it's Greg Abate Quartet, and I'll let you talk about the other people that are on the recording.
Right.
Well, let's back up in time a little bit. You're a long-time resident of this area, right?
Yes, I am.
Growing up where?
Woonsocket, Rhode Island.
In Woonsocket, there.
Yeah.
right around the corner from Chan's.
Right, exactly. It's so ironic that I'm there. Like, that's my, my local, place to play two or three times a year.
Right.
Like, I just played there, last night, actually.
And you got dates every couple months going back in May or something?
Yeah, we do a Gemini night because John and I are both Geminis, and we do a Gemini weekend. And it's been going on for maybe 25, 30 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Chan's has been around a long time. I remember we were talking before we went on the air tonight that I think my quartet sang there back in the 70s, I think it was. So
it had to be the 70s because that's when they started the music.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's been around for a while, as both you and I have.
Yeah, we've been lucky, huh?
We are very lucky, and we're both lucky, and we're both enjoying what we continue to do.
Definitely.
So that's the amazing thing. Let's talk about the saxophone. When did that come into your life? Were you in elementary school, high school?
Junior high school.
Junior high school.
Yeah, it was just about ninth grade.
Ninth grade, and just what was there a famous person you were trying to emulate, or?
Well, the first person I heard on alto was the saxophone was Paul Desmond.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we were all trying to play the Take 5 tune, all the alto players, and we're all different levels. I was like one of the lower level players at that time.
Alto.
Yeah, in the band there was this one guy that played really good, so he got to play the Take 5 tune.
Well, there you go.
But
now,
that gives you incentive to go more.
That's what was the impetus to get you started and pick up the saxophone. Now, saxophone is known to a lot of people as a sexy instrument. That had nothing to do with why you started it?
No. No.
Because it just has that mellow feel to it sometimes,
So it depends who's playing it.
I suppose that's correct.
There's so many different styles. I mean, it's an infinite possibilities and different styles. I can't. It's hard to imagine how the vibrato was so fast back in the 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
And then the vibrato kind of evened out more in the 60s. And then, this playing without vibrato, which is unheard of back then. Everybody had that wave. Duh,
right, yeah. Yeah, okay. So it's changed over the years, like lots of things have.
Yes.
And it keeps progressing. Now, when you perform, you regularly perform with the same characters, or occasionally mix it up?
Occasionally mix it up because some of the characters aren't available, and I know other characters, so we have a lot of characters.
We both know a lot of characters. Okay.
I like that because the personality changes. The dynamics.
Each time you play,
Yeah.
sure. If you got different keyboard or different drummer or whatever.
It does add a lot different. We love everybody we work with usually because that's what makes music so good in a way, that performing, because you have people that you like to be around and you like to mesh with people like way emotionally and going spiritually as well. That's what we think about our music now, is more of a it's a feeling that is not up there just doing it for entertainment, more so like it's a spiritual.
There's a message to it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get to this new CD that you have, and this the
Yes.
title cut is called "Positive Energy," and that's
Yes.
going to be the first one we're listening to. Who else is on this CD with you?
This is a group from New Mexico that I play with a lot. In
Of course.
Albuquerque.
Well, New Mexico. Why not New Mexico? Now we're going to have to find out about that. Why New Mexico?
Well, I play out there quite a bit, and I have different places I play in the country. I have different musicians that I call upon, and we become friends over the years. And in this particular case, John Rangel is the piano player, and Terrence Burns is playing bass, and David Post is drums. And I see these guys, like David lives in Ojo Caliente, John Rangel is in Santa Fe, and then Terry's lives in Albuquerque.
Okay.
So we have a couple of gigs. We play in like bebop societies and jazz festivals there.
So this and did you just happen upon New Mexico as a place to go, or were you hired to go there?
Oh, I've been going. Yeah, I've been going there since 1993.
93.
Yeah.
And you discovered it on a cross-country trip, I think is the story, kind of, right?
No, I went through there on the way to California as a
Yeah.
younger man, right?
Yeah.
That was back in 1969, driving through. And then I was there again when I was with the Artie Shaw Orchestra. And then because of a friend that came from New Mexico to visit, came to Bovie's one night. I was playing there in East Providence. And he was a drummer from Albuquerque, and he says, "Greg, maybe we can get you out there to play at this bed and breakfast Jazz 101." And I went there, and I started to play in New Mexico quite a bit since 1993. I can't believe it. Time.
It's amazing how time flies when you're having fun. All right, let's give this this first cut, Positive Energy, a listen. Greg, during that first conversation, we talked about characters and we know some of the same characters, but here's something I realized while you were speaking. You said you were driving to Los Angeles in 1969.
Right.
I, too, drove to Los Angeles in 1969. I'm putting my hand on the Bible.
Wow.
My quartet had a gig in Los Angeles, and we decided to drive and went right through.
That's what we did. It was 4 of us in this 1965 Chevrolet.
I got one up on you. We had a brand new Chevrolet that my father let me take if I got good grades in school.
Wow, that's cool.
So there we go. We're both there. We could have been staying in the same restaurants.
Probably going down Route 66,
Yeah.
and all the way and getting through the desert and all that, Mojave Desert.
Well, when they say it's a small world, we got stuck in Needles, California. And there was a post office, a motel, and a restaurant, and a cafe, and it was like 120 degrees. It was the 4th of July week, and we stopped there and tried to catch our breath. So,
we got stuck in Gila Bend in Texas. I think it was Texas.
There you go. All right, let's get back to this new CD that's about to be released called Positive Energy.
Yes.
And you've got another song on here we're going to listen to. Tell us about this one.
A song for my brother, Charles Abate. He was the third in the family. I'm the oldest, then my brother David, then my brother Charles, and my sister Maria. Mm-hmm. So Charles passed away several years ago from a horrible disease, and just came about. He was a very special guy, and he was had a master woodworker, and he could do everything. One of those guys, and such a sweet soul. And so I wrote this for him, and in honor of my brother Charles.
All right, we'll listen to that, then take a short break, and be back with much more. Greg Abate is the subject of tonight's Conducting Conversations. He is sitting with me here in the studio. I'm Mike Mano, and we're reviewing old times and finding out it's a small world after all.
Definitely.
We talked about back in the 1960s when we started on our what became our vocations, and getting out there in the world and still going strong. It's the good news. Greg, if you had to guess, now I have about 8 or 9 of your CDs, your albums here. If you had to guess, how many recordings do you think you've made over the years?
24 maybe.
24 recordings.
As
That's a
leader,
lot of music.
Yeah, it is. I look at it like a lot of body of work of music, a body of work.
And a lot of it's yours, right?
Yes, yeah.
I mean, you're not known for covering a lot of songs. You're known for a lot of original music.
Yeah, and I do like playing cover songs, like the standards, American Songbook, a lot of the bebop classics, because it's just so challenging and it's inspiring to me to play other musics that help me create my own,
Right.
It's like,
as people come up to me when I'm performing with my quartet, and they'll say, "Oh, by the way, do you know such and such a song?" Whether it's "World on a String" by Sinatra or whatever it is, and most often, because there's thousands of songs, we don't know that arrangement, so we can't do it.
Right.
As a quartet, we need it to be arranged. But now you, on the other hand, you can play the melody, right? For if somebody walks up to you and asks you for something,
yeah,
you can do it.
Yeah, a lot of melodies stored up there.
There you go.
Yeah, it's amazing how you can recall things, and sometimes it's hard to recall. Sometimes I can't.
Sure.
It's like blank out.
I've actually been in a position. I can remember years ago. I think we were up in Toronto, and this person walked up to me after the show and said, "Can you guys sing such and such a song?" And I said, "I'm sorry, I don't know that song." And she said, "Well, you have it on one of your albums."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oops."
A long time ago, right?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
You
you
just forgot about it then.
There you go. Yeah.
It wasn't a favorite tune, maybe.
Now here's this next CD that we're going to be listening to.
Wow.
Two cuts from this. The first one is called "It's You or No One."
Right.
And where does this album come from?
Well, this was produced by Sal Corio from Providence, Rhode Island, and he basically was in the jewelry business, and somehow we got connected. And he wanted to produce a CD for me, a recording, and he said, let's who do you want to use on it? And so I chose Claudio Roditi, my good friend from Brazil, who was a real famous trumpet player in New York. He came in, and then local people I knew from Rhode Island, bass player Paul Del Nero, and it was George Schuler on drums, Gunther Schuler's son, friend of mine, and David Stewart on piano from Boston, and it was arranged by John Allmark, a couple of tunes. So he arranged the Moose the Mooch tune coming up next.
All right.
So,
well, we can play one right after the other. So we're going to start with "It's You or No One," and tell us about Moose the Mooch.
Moose the Mooch was written by Charlie Barker, and it was Moose the Mooch. Unfortunately, was one of his drug dealers that the story goes, he obtained his fixes from, which is a sad story.
Yeah.
But that's the history around that tune.
Okay. Well, let's listen to those two, and then we'll take another short break and catch up with some more of Greg Abate. The amazing saxophonist Greg Abate is my special guest. I'm Mike Mano, and Greg is back again. He's been, fortunately for us, been here before, and we hope to have him many times down the road in the future.
Thank you.
He's produced so much music. Greg, it's amazing. You know, I look at these CDs and I look at all the people you've played with over the years. I know we've talked about quite a few. As a matter of fact, so many. We got one more to mention from that last cut, right?
Yes. For last cut from the Spirit recording, Bob Wino is the percussionist on that with the last tune with Moose the Mooch.
Okay.
You know, It's You and No One for me, that one there.
Okay.
He was playing percussion.
So one of the things you mentioned very early in the program tonight was the fact that teaching has become something you've been growing more and more fond of, I guess.
Well, I've been teaching for a long time, Mike. In my early days, I was teaching, private students in the studio in a music store where I have students that come and see me. And I taught 20 years at Rhode Island College as an adjunct professor of jazz studies, and I helped form the jazz minor program, which has since been diminished because after COVID, things changed a lot.
Yeah.
But my expertise in teaching jazz is harmony composition and saxophone, flute, and arranging.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a lot involved there, and but if people are interested, they can go to your website and get in touch with you.
Yes, they can.
And that's your name, correct?
Yeah. Well, you can gregabate.com, and you can email me there, or you can just email me at gregonalto@gmail.
All right. We got email address and everything. So it's Greg with one G, Greg, 2 G's, but one at the end.
Yeah.
And then Abate, ABATE.
Right.
And that's .com, and you can get all the information. Are some of the discs still available to be purchased?
Most of them are.
Excellent.
Yeah, they're all on the website.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, then you can treat yourself and get a recording or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 from Greg.
That's great.
It's one of the other things I wanted to ask you was you mentioned saxophones plural.
Yes.
Now, how many saxophones do you play?
Well, I play probably 6 saxophones.
6 different styles, right. Or six different...
6 instruments. There's alto,
yeah.
tenor, soprano, baritone. I think so. It'll be 4 saxes.
Okay, 4 saxes.
Then a flute, C flute, alto flute, clarinet, and I play harmonic changes on the piano.
Wow.
And I think piccolo, clarinet. Piccolo, I have a piccolo, but I haven't really put tons of time into that, so
yeah.
I'll stick with the flute and the alto flute.
Now, so does that make you a flautist?
I am a flautist.
A flautist?
Yeah.
Not a flutist.
Well, it could be either way. I like flutist better. What do you?
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Because it's like tomato, right?
Right. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
All right, Greg. We have time for one more piece of music, and this
nice.
is from another CD. Tell us about this cut in the CD.
Well, this is a tune by Horace Silver, and it's one of his tunes called Quicksilver. And on this CD, it was myself with Claudio Roditi, the late, great Claudio Roditi on trumpet and flugelhorn, and the late, great Hilton Reese on piano, and then a local late, great Artie Cabral on drums.
Wow.
So
quite a cast on there.
Yeah, no, Marshall Wood was the bassist. He was the bass player, most recent bass player from Tony Bennett, who played with him with Gray Sargent. The 2 of those guys. This is the bass player.
Excellent.
I met Marshall back in the Cape Cod in 1981.
Wow, you remember the years.
Yeah, because that's when I moved out there.
Well, Greg, thanks so much for coming in tonight and bringing your music to our audience. I know a lot of people appreciate listening to this, and hopefully we'll set up another date soon.
I will, Michael. Thanks very much. And I want to say, because people missed me at Chan's missed the show at Chan's last night.
Yeah.
I'll be back May 30th with Gemini Night. at
Gemini
Chance.
Night.
Yeah, May 30th.
All right, there you go. So
Yeah.
check that out, and anywhere else that you might see Greg playing.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year to everyone, and we'll see you next time on Conducting Conversations.
Excellent.
Conducting Conversations was brought to you by Roberts Musical Instruments, using music in the arts to keep your child educated, entertained, and having fun. Roberts Musical Instruments is your key to musical success. Call 823-5459. That's 823-5459.